In this episode, we change the remaining tappets and re-torque the cylinder head. We get very hot and bothered, the rear springs get replaced, and an encouraging test drive takes place. Hi, I'm Darren, an untrained amateur who's determined to save one of the last of these classic cars. This is Roy, a 45-year-old 2.8 litre Vauxhall Royale coupe. When I owned one 30 years ago, they were rare. Now they're unknown. This is one of the last of its kind, and I'm going to rescue it and relive my youth. Follow the rebuild, watch this legend come back to life. Right, morning everybody. Fairly full-on day today. We've got the remaining hydraulic tappets have arrived. So the two tappets that I wanted to change, we've got those. So we can drop those in and tighten down the rocker nuts, the new rocker nuts. I'm then going to do something a bit controversial. Well, is it controversial? Probably not. It's courageous. That's what it is. We've ascertained that there is a bit of a leak on the cylinder head gasket between number 2 and the cooling system. It's very, very slight, but it is there. I think I've got nothing to lose. I thought of it, then dismissed it, then thought of it again. Then somebody suggested it in the comments, and damn it, I'm going to do it. I'm going to try re-torquing the cylinder head. I've got the tightening sequence. I've got the tech sheet, which says that if you change the cylinder head gasket, what you do is you re-torque the head after 1,000 kilometers. So I don't think it can hurt. To make sure I do as good a job as possible, I've invested in a new torque wrench from the Halfords Advanced range, because apparently they're made by a very, very respected manufacturer of torque wrenches. Norbert, something, anyway. But apparently they're the dog's doodahs. So we'll give that a go. Tighten that up. Then we're going to put the rocker box back on. Do an oil change, because I've got the correct oil for it. So oil and filter. I've got a new gasket for the rocker box. Then we're going to do, as much as is possible, a transmission oil change. I say as much as is possible because you can't get most of the trans fluid out. So I'm going to drain out whatever I can, refill it, run it for a bit, do it again. And I bought 10 litres of the right transmission fluid. I'm just going to keep changing it until it's all gone through. And then this is a vacuum modulator. So this is from the back of the gearbox. Derek at GM6 kindly supplied me with this, which is a working one. I checked my vacuum modulator, and because it was, the gearbox was showing a strange behaviour. It was holding on for a long time before it upshifted, and that is a symptom of a bad vacuum modulator. So I put my vacuum pump on my one, because I was also, you know, if this has got a vacuum leak on it, it will unbalance the carburetor. Also, there's transmission fluid at this end, and when I tested my one, I got transmission fluid down the vacuum line. So I think my one's knackered. So I'm going to put this one on as part of it, and we'll see if that improves the gearbox and if it improves the running, because if there's a vacuum leak on there, it can only help. And then finally, whether I'll get to this particular bit of the job this week or not, I don't know. Ever since I got the car, I've noticed it's sitting down on its bum. It's too low at the back. The tyres disappear into the wheel arches. And amazingly, I was able to buy a set of springs for it. And it is a relatively simple job to change the springs on this. It's literally 10 bolts, and you can just lower the rear axle down a bit and they pop out. So we'll give that a go as well, see if we can get it sitting right. Also gives me an opportunity to inspect the rear end and see if there's any corrosion or anything that needs to be dealt with. But in the meantime, first things first, let's do these tappets and retorque the head. Tappets you've seen me do, we'll probably do that on time lapse, and when it comes to retorquing the head, I'll come back to you. Okay, quick situation report. The rule of 13 obviously doesn't work because I was getting a locked engine, so the valves are too far open. I think I'm going to have to do this the Opel service manual way and splash oil everywhere. Don't think there's going to be very many options. So I'm just adjusting it now so that I can get 2 full turns of the engine without anything touching. And then we'll torque the head, put the spark plugs back, and try it. Okay, that's completely turning over now. Let's just put the compression tester on number 2 and give it a quick few spins. Okay, that's compression tester on there. And the throttle's jammed open. $160. I think last time we got 155. Yes, we did. So we got 160 on 2. Let's do number 1 as well. Number 1 last time we got 170. Yeah, we've got 180 this time. Okay, so broadly, we're about 20 psi down on number 2. Let's torque that head. Let's see what we get. It's a fantastic day to do this because it's probably going to be the hottest day of the year, and I'm standing in a garage with a metal roof, so that's lovely. Right, let's go and get the new torque wrench and the spline bit. Okay, so courtesy of senator-monza.de and Google Translate to put it into English, I have the procedure for changing the head, which fortunately has got a nice diagram here with the sequence, the tightening sequence on it. And again, courtesy of Halfords Advanced, which I actually, you know, I was kind of changing my opinion about Halfords, you know. Always thought of them as being a bit, you know, DIY shop, bit B&Q. But that socket set that I bought is excellent. And that was 11 quid. And then they gave me a discount on it because I'm a member of their motoring club. And I'm only a member of that because I've always had my van MOT'd by them. They've got a local garage and always had my MOTs done there in recent years. And last time I was there, the guy said to me, if you join the motoring club, which costs something like 40 quid a year, we'll give you a free MOT. And an MOT was 40 quid. So I thought, well, what's to lose? And now if I buy anything in there, I get 5% off. So, you know, that's great. The other thing that's really good, the Opel Manta guys who have the 4-cylinder version of this engine, they just produce some really useful content. And one of the things is if you set it at TDC at number 1, there are little notches in the camshaft there, which allow you to get the cylinder head spline tool down there. So, this apparently is a quality torque wrench, and it appears to be. It's got it's got a certificate of calibration with it, which I need to keep. It feels like a quality piece of stuff. It's got a nice readout on it. Locks in place. Oh yeah, there's a little. This one goes from 40 Newton meters up to 200. I've got it on 100. I need 100 here. Oh, I see. Look, yeah. So you're kind of at 100, and then you can dial it right in. So I need to be on 100 Newton meters. The instructions are for re-torquing the head. Place the cylinder head and tighten the head bolts in order shown in the illustration. After driving 1,000 kilometers, retighten the cylinder head bolts 100 Newton meters. When retightening, loosen the cylinder head bolts and then tighten them with one pull. Now that's what I've seen other people say about retorquing a head. So you give it like half a turn off and then you do it in one go. You've got to loosen it off, because if you don't, you're fighting against the friction of the bolt. So the first bolt that's 11, that's 9, that's 3, that's 1. So number 1 there, that's the first bolt. Do we need an extension bar? We probably do. Let's get an extension bar. And now we do it in one pull. Oh, that's not as easy as it sounds. Do you know what? I think it's going to be prudent to pull the bolt and clean it. I've seen other people say that pull the bolt, clean it, grease it, and then put it back. You see what the problem is? That oil in there, if that is full of oil, it hydraulically stops it sitting in there. That's better. That goes in much better now when it's clean. Okay. Let's get a bit of grease as well to just drop on that. Being a complete amateur, this is real sort of cutting edge stuff doing this. This feels like I'm messing with things I shouldn't mess with. Yeah, it definitely falls into the category of That's your cylinder head. Leave that alone. Try not to bugger around with that. It won't end well. And do it with one pull, says the book. So much harder than people say it is. Right, I heard that bottom out. Okay. So I got that nigh on there anyway. Do we do it again? Do we do it again? Just to be sure. Yes, we bloody do, don't we? That's what's meant to happen. One pull, 100 Newton meters. And now the stud is, now the spline tool is stuck in there. I'm loving this job already. This is a great job. This is fun. This is how you should spend a Saturday. All I can say is I'm dead glad I'm doing this on the hottest day of the year. And I'm also dead glad I'm doing this on camera. And I'm loving this car and seriously questioning my life choices as to why I bought the damn thing. Yes, Roy, you. Ah, now that one was looser than the others have been. And that is right above number 2. Stand by for one of Darren's crackpot theories that hopefully will make him feel better about this project until it is later disproved. What I'm doing with banging it in there, I'm not actually forcing it into the spline at all. What I'm doing is I'm displacing the oil. So that it'll go in. I mean, I suppose this is a problem you don't normally have when you rebuild an engine because everything would be clean as far as it can be oil free. See, number 2 was definitely looser than that. What I'm just contemplating actually is holding that bonnet up without the bonnet stay, because that's really getting in the way. Incidentally, I did check, these are the reusable head bolts, they're not the stretch ones. Oh, this is my invention, by the way. Top of a WD-40 can with that nice little straw onto a can of brake cleaner. talk about improved things. Positively stunning. If anybody wants to donate me a much bigger garage, you know, I'm open to a conversation. Where was it? That was number 4. Right, number 5. Now that one was loose as well, and that's above number 2. Is it a Darren crackpot theory that's going to be disproved in 20 minutes when it has 2 bits of evidence? Seriously, if anyone wants to get me a bigger garage, you know, any eccentric millionaires out there that just have got a spare barn or something. Let's see if number 2 looks any different. Don't think it will. I don't think it will have made an ape's worth of difference, but... So we got 155 before. $155, 160. It's not made a difference at all. Right, I'll put the plugs back in, get it started, and we'll adjust those rockers. Right, so not sure if it recorded or not, but I've just been round the cylinder head bolts again with it hot. I didn't undo them this time, I just literally gave them a bit of a crank, and I actually got about 1/8 of a turn on a few of them. So that can't be a bad thing. Right, let's put this rocker box back on and we can stop chucking oil everywhere. Because it's very antisocial. So amazingly, like a lot of things for this car, parts are still available. I mean, albeit from Europe, but because there's so many models that use these engines, even though this is a rare beast, this engine is not a rare beast. There are still a fair few around. So we've got, you know, this is for a, this would fit an Opel Record and a Commodore, I think it is. The Commodore's the one with the 6-cylinder. So I did the sensible thing, and when I bought that, because I was going to have to pay shipping, I got 2. So it looks like that gasket sits in there. It's got some tabs. It's a solid block of red hot pig iron. No, Roy, that is not a compliment. I mean, of all the places to drop, right onto a red hot exhaust manifold. Okay, the torque setting on this is 7 Newton meters, so out with the dinky torque wrench. Okay, so I've drained out all the oil, changed the filter, and this is proper thick 2050 motor oil. Way thicker than you use in a modern engine. I've also drained out what I could from the automatic transmission, which wasn't a lot, because most of it will be in the torque converter. But it weren't a pretty colour. It was sort of a dirty red, and it should be a bright cherry red. So what we do is do a few ATF changes until I've put 10 litres through it. Once 10 litres has gone through it, probably do a filter change on it as well, which wouldn't be a bad idea. So as with all automatics of this era, you fill them up through the dipstick tube, which is fun. Particularly as back in the day, you used to fill them up with little half-pint bottles, but this comes in a rather more jumbo size. This is proper Dexron 2, which is the GM flavoured automatic transmission fluid, and it's about to go everywhere. I'll put about 2 litres in for now, because that's about what came out. See, it wasn't that colour when it came out. It wasn't that nice cherry red. That's about 2 litres. That's enough to start it up, and then you check these when they're running. And there's so you run them up and you dip them running. And on the dipstick, there are 2 sets of marks. So there's a set down there, which is for 20 degree when it's cold. And there's a set here, which is for when it's hot, because the fluid expands. But as I say, the aim of this, because I'm not taking the gearbox out and draining the torque converter, the aim is to sort of homeopathically change it by continually mixing new fluid in until you dilute the old stuff and flush it out. And it needs about 7 litres of fluid, I think. So if I've put 10 litres through it, then it should have flushed it. Right, let's have a look at the potential of doing these springs. Okay, so here we are under the car, and the object of the game is to replace those springs. Now, it's quite an easy job. We've got an anti-roll bar here. I've already taken the shackles off. There. We undo the shocks from each side, and then there's 4 bolts that hold the diff up, and we lower the whole lot down and the springs pop out, apparently. So yeah, the bolts are all undone. We'll see if it works. So that's the shocks off, and actually the thing that's stopping me now is the wheels being on it. I'll take the wheels off and we'll see where we go. Okay, so that's the 4 bolts that hold the end of the diff. Apparently now you just, yeah, I'm not convinced. That's supposed to lower away, and you're supposed to be able to get the springs out. You're not supposed to have to clamp them up or anything. I mean, they're nearly out. Okay, I worked it out. Where I had the axle stand was actually keeping this up in the air. So a quick lift up of the car on the jacking point and out comes the spring. Easy peasy. Let's put a new one in. Well, I think it is safe to say I know why it was sitting down on its arse. Them springs have either gone really soft or they're lowered. They're really thin at the top compared to these, but you know, there's the 4 inches of height I'm missing. It could be somebody's lowered it, in which case, hate that. Okay, so springs are in, everything's back together. Just going to torque up all the bolts that I've undone, and then we'll put it back on its wheels. That stance is so much better. That's how it should look, with a gap. So we are burning oil off the manifolds everywhere. That's going to be a while before that stops. It's totally out of tune. Idling too fast out of gear and too slow in it. However, oh, I tell you what, the oil pressure is double what it was when it was hot. It's right hot at the moment. The idle oil pressure was 1 bar. Now it's 2. That's that proper thick oil. Bit of a splutter there. Changing a bit better. That'll be that new valve. Yeah, gearbox is changing better. Pickup's better. No clouds of smoke. It's pulling away it was there on that pull away. I was getting a horrible cloud of smoke. I've been taking it on the same little run so I can tell. Oh, that box is changing so much nicer. Okay, carburettor. So the carburettor's out of tune, but functioning. No pinking. I haven't heard it pink once. So I think the timing's right. It's changing all 3 gears nicely, so that valve's working, that modulator valve's working. So much more comfortable with those new springs in the back. Before it was like driving a speed hump, because the front was up and the back was down. Gotta say, best drive yet, despite all of this smoke, which will stop. Let's give that trans oil a dip and see where we are. I've got to say, that felt like we might have actually moved forward a bit. It didn't break down, but it didn't stall. It wasn't chucking out huge clouds of smoke. It was pulling properly. It was shifting properly. It kind of feels like something's starting to work. It feels so much better with them springs on the back. I think the next thing now is to try and get the carb in tune. I think it's probably worth putting the gas analyzer on it again now. Wasn't pinking at all, so the timing's right. So we're not going to play with the timing at all. Oil pressure's good. It's not overheating. The trans fluid spot on where it should be. Really feels like we've pushed forward a bit there. That was by far the best it's driven. Also, the next thing is as well is to find out where the blow is in the exhaust, because that won't be helping things. I mean, it's not like it's a car that's got oxygen sensors and stuff like that, and an exhaust blow is going to be a major issue, but it probably won't be helping. So need to find out where that is. I put my hand over the exhaust earlier on and it's blowing big style somewhere. So I need to find out where that is and address that. Moving better, accelerating better, shifting better with that new vacuum modulator. Still out of tune, but not as lumpy, not as stalling, not, you know, refusing to pull away. It's better. Again, thank you for joining me. Like, subscribe, share. It really does help to get the videos out in front of people. Yeah, share it with anybody you think might like to watch somebody doing everything wrong to a Vauxhall Royale in an attempt to save it. But it does feel today might have moved a little bit closer to saving it. So yeah, thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.